Dear reader, welcome again to the continuation of the audio series of my autobiography, Indefatigable, Unyielding Spirit, Unbreakable Will. The Revolutionary Journey. Looking back in retrospect, I must admit that I was born a revolutionist. I have always shunned oppression. I have never hesitated to speak out against the vice. Unbeknown to many, I was named David at birth. 3 of my other siblings have biblical names: Samuel, Esther, and Ruth. At around the age of 6, I abandoned the name and adopted the name Ben. Not Bernard, Benson, or Benjamin. Just Ben. And voila! That name has stuck with me to this date. Childhood tales abound of how I would adopt an idea or take a stand on something and stick to it to the very bitter end. Years later, as an adult, an aunt reminded me of how as a child I used to shun clothes. Whenever I was left in her custody, I would remove the clothes regardless of the weather. No amount of threat, pressure, intimidation, or punishment would make me rescind my decision. We heartily laughed at this. Now as a parent, I am sure she was never amused at my antics back then. The obstinate village boy. As a boy, I took the least traveled path to stand up for justice in numerous occasions. I grew up in a very loving home. Love in those days was principally epitomized by parents not turning a blind eye to mischief. Sometimes the retribution for the mischiefs were too severe. At one point, I ran away from home when I felt that Dada had been unfair in punishing me for a mistake that I had committed. The escapade lasted nearly 2 weeks before he located me at my grandmother's homestead, a sister to my maternal grandmother. This event would just mark the beginning of what would go on to be a pattern of standing up to my convictions.